Welcome to Rich House Comedy. Today we're doing the Tom Lewis CK exposed every podcast comedian. Why did you click this video and what connects you with Louis CK? If this is your first time here, right first time. If you've been here before, right before. Now this is Rich House Comedy. We love showing love to comedians and showing love in all aspects. You know what I mean? Whether it be stand-up, whether it be commentary, all aspects, all right? Make sure you subscribe if you like that type of vibe. Right now, I want to know where you guys are from. Don't be bougie in the comments. And let's get right into the video, man. For real, I don't want to waste nobody's time. We're here for a couple of minutes. If you're not here for the whole video, then don't even watch it. You feel me? Let's get it.
Rich guy growing up?
There we go.
Oh, really, dude?
The man that exposed himself and lost it all somehow made a comeback and couldn't help but dish out on some of the podcast comedians that popped up while he was MIA. One side of the argument wants him gone again for his creepy deviance. The other side are comedy fans who think he's one of the best at the craft.
And against me is not funny.
It's up to you if you can or want to separate the art from the artist or not.
Yeah.
Before it was revealed, he had a thing for asking to unhide his monkey in front of his female peers, which he admitted to entirely. He was the biggest comedian in the world.
All right, y'all gonna have to give me backstories on that. Okay, give me backstories about him exposed, because I ain't know he did all this wild accusations. That's why I'm finding this out, but that, I need the backstory on that.
In terms of media contracts and touring numbers. There's no excusing his acts, but if R. Kelly can be revealed as Satan and still have 5 million listeners a month on Spotify, anything's possible with entertainment audiences.
That's
Seinfeld
crazy.
even had his own allegations in the 90s, but it's dodged scrutiny as there wasn't a
Seinfeld had his... So you telling me Seinfeld and Louis C.K. is Diddy, man? They out here with the baby oil? Come on, bruh. I didn't know this.
back then. But present day, I guess the Madison Square Garden shows that even with all that pressure, and even a new documentary coming out, it only takes about 6 years to get uncancelled. Even so, his stand-up, Louis, Horace and Pete, Better Things, most other comedians on podcasts have nowhere near his quality of output, and they know it, making it easier for him to dominate the room. Plus, almost every podcast comedian is scared to call each other out and rock the boat. Only 2 have had the balls to call out the pipeline of comedy exposure. Here's Mark Norman's.
Yeah, Rogan does that shit. You know, he goes, meh, meh. You're like, fuck you, you bald.
I kind of do agree with a lot. You're 4'8".
Yeah.
His biggest
Quick question, yeah. I think Rogan funny. I don't think Rogan is funny at all. And I don't know about Mark Norman. Give me some things that I can react to from him in the comments.
insecurity that nobody dare mention, except for every Instagram comment. But Rogan doesn't read comments, so problem solved. And Shane did with Tony Hinchcliffe.
You're gonna remember the night that you saw
I love
him.
that show.
You're gonna remember this forever. That's a huge amount of pressure.
By the way, you're drinking the gayest beer of all time, Shane. Shut the
You're gay. You're literally gay.
No, you're
You're actually
That's my guy, Shane Gillis, man.
a gay guy.
Again, echoing one of the most common comments online about Tony. But these are slight digs compared to Louis, who doesn't need the podcast world, so he'll happily go at them personally. A total nightmare for Andrew Schulz in a way that he didn't do against Theo Von, Shane Gillis, or Tim Dillon.
Because you make money acting like a dumb guy, raised with a lot
I
of
went
money.
to a party school.
Intelligent people with money go to party schools.
I'm not have crazy money.
Wow.
Isn't that true, right?
My parents taught dance lessons for a living. How much money can you make doing that?
You tell me.
Schultz, it only takes 20 minutes to expose his upbringing, and to
I love
say he
Andrew
makes money
Schulz
by
too.
pretending to be a stupid guy, goddamn. It seems Louis saw flagrant and had been wanting to humble his new fellow New York peers while he was cancelled. It's a small taste of what Patrice O'Neal's show would have been like
Drop a rest of peace in the comments for Patrice O'Neal.
in the podcast era. He would have found the holes in every podcast comedian big right now and roasted the ever-living shit out of them. Unfortunately, we don't get to have that reality. You also probably heard Akash Singh talk about Louis being boring in 2017 to 2019 episodes of Flagrant.
And watching an hour of his comedy put me to sleep, yo.
Made me feel stupid. That's why I call him stupid, to
Get it off.
get it off of me onto him.
You gotta cleanse the palate. I'm comfortable.
Why not? I don't know him.
The irony, and right after his cancellation, to then flip and have him on the show years later, which would explain Louis' deserved hostility. For example, in the Theo conversation, Louis gave him basically the opposite treatment that Bill Burr did. No hostility or trying to derail it with defensiveness. Louis opened up about his childhood and praised Theo's comedy with a major rap. Which makes sense as those three do have stronger acts, with Schultz relying on crowd work a lot more to dominate
definitely.
YouTube and TikTok and save the
Definitely.
best material for his stand-up. Can't knock the strategy, 5 million TikTok followers or 18 million for Matt Rife, who does the same thing. Ticket sales-wise, it is converting well. It just isn't as respected an approach as traditional stand-up with someone like CK, And compared to Louis, Schulz or Matt Rife clearly have a few more decades to...
I mean, I think people need to take their pennies out of a bunch. I mean, comedy has changed over the years. I think people are making more money. There's more things, more opportunities. So, yeah, it makes more sense to kind of maximize off of it. Just stand-up is not going to work because theoretically the old comedians were doing one stand-up a year. I mean, times have changed.
Put in as he did to be at the same level. While Louis gave Shane his props and is admittedly a fan, he didn't hold back a few hours in of their Let's Discuss Every President podcast when Shane tried to move over to the Patreon part of the episode.
You
don't have to. You don't need the money,
not for me.
Shane.
Matt and Sean need it.
Matt's
got a family.
How much do you get for Patreon? How much really?
I'll tell you.
But you think 1,000 people will join your Patreon? 5,000 new people because of this?
I wish you would stop this.
Ooh, Shane can't admit how much they make and hopes the conversation to be over. Probably the first time he's been pressed like that and wasn't ready for it. Louis at least sells his work and you get to keep it, unlike Tom Segura's renting nonsense, but the prices aren't that cheap that he gets to be on that high a horse about Patreon usage. A special or series takes a lot more production effort, so it's more than fair, but consumer-wise, if you prefer podcast humor, there's not much better value than a month's access to hundreds of episodes of bonus content for just a few bucks.
Yeah.
Though Shane Gillis or Tim Dillon are making 2, 3, 500,000 on Patreon a month, plus multiple ad reads, which are almost certainly 6 or 7 figure deals, then AdSense on top if they aren't getting limited ads.
I know Shane Gillis is the big deal, but damn!
Controversial topics, then throw merch on that tower of money, then calculate profits from touring or extra appearances like SNL, other big podcasts. So Louis definitely had a bit of a point that comedians make a ton more money than most realize, and that the rest of their talk on presidents does not need to be behind a paywall.
Don't doubt the product is whatever it says it is, but their copywriters
Oh, man. Clear your whole... I don't know why they did that to me.
the worst day of my life now.
You want to read one?
No. Absolutely not.
We're brought to you by DraftKings.
With Bert Kreischer, he nicely only pointed out the ego involved in arena tours. Just kidding.
Were you a rich guy growing up?
Kind of.
The secret many comedians try to hide is they often appeal in image and joke style to the everyman. If they grew up majorly rich, the 0.1% of society, and have never struggled a day in their life, it makes it a lot more difficult to relate their act to the 99% that turn up to their shows.
Yeah.
For all of Louis' faults, his act has always been rooted in reality. Failing marriage, an experience raising 2 girls in New York, it's real in a way that Bert and Tom's acts aren't. Bert's more of a squealing shirtless storyteller than a joke teller, and Tom did have some seriously close jokes to his peers in his last special. The exact same premise as George Carlin's hand wash poop joke, the same weird, not kid-like voice Chris D'Elia uses for his kid voice on stage. Creepy as usual. The Brad Pitt joke, similar to Theo's, could be parallel thinking, but still, the altogether package of Rogan's 2 bears, just like Cat Williams, there's no way Louis is much a fan of either of them, as Bert confirmed.
Him and Attell, I don't think they liked me. I think they were like...
You say that about a lot of people.
I think that he's a nice guy. I like everything about him off stage, but the second he goes on stage, it makes me cringe.
Another reality check. It won't last for Bert. There's only so many years people will come to the same arena.
Is he funny? I only reacted to one thing from him, but I never really got into him, y'all. If he's funny, let me know in the comments.
Tour, and many comedy fans do prefer a smaller room.
A comedian who gets an opportunity to do arenas, you should do it once. And again, it is for you. It's also a way to make a ton of money. Wow, look, I'm in an arena, but the audience is like, I can't even see him.
As someone that saw Dave Chappelle in Sydney in a stadium, I'd imagine even 15 minutes of this hidden return 4-hour relaxed show he did in 2009 in this small room in the comic strip, atmosphere-wise, would be 100 times better. Louis is right, it's for the most amount of profit and for the comedian's ego, and it sucks for the viewer unless they pay crazy amounts for stage-side seats, as unlike a concert, there's no way to get to the front row. Then Louis gives Joe Rogan a reality check about his sauna, ice bath, IV vitamins after heavy drinking.
We're having some stupid conversations that are just, you know, should I do a cold plunge or a sauna? Like, what the that? It's not that, like, it's not you should be ashamed because people can't afford it. I feel sorry for the guy in that conversation. It's like it's a ridiculous trying to find just the right balance because there's nothing really challenging you.
As Louis said, you only have these questions to fulfill once you're not a part of the 99.9%.
Dragging their bodies across broken glass and trying to like hand off just enough to their kids and then collapse in a heap of cancer.
It's probably not hard to be in a bubble when you're worth hundreds of millions, but he, as a richer man than most, can still at least see the funny in the separation between Joe Rogan and his average fan. Even with the Tate brothers being as controversial and as rich as they are, they also mocked Rogan for his ice bath obsession.
I do an ice bath every morning for my mental clarity, but then why dumb?
Adequate sleep, sunlight, exercise, and no processed food gets you 90% of the way there anyway. Ricky Gervais, Dave Chappelle, and then Bill Burr are the only other three that are praised beyond most podcast comedians, but today's scene does pale in comparison to the past legends. Most of the Rogan scene isn't on that same level, and it's only made worse by social media's need for constant content. In turn, people are becoming oversaturated with thousands and thousands of hours and are sick of hearing the same conversations, whereas back in the day, a comedy special every year or two, and a few late-night appearances was received much better.
It was.
Perhaps less is more. As Cat Williams' facial expression said,
"There's maybe 500 of us on the planet."
And he's lying.
Your number's going down.
First of all, him talking about 500 of us. I hated the fact that Joe Rogan said that. But I do respect the older version of what comedy was in the stand-up aspect. And I think that, you know, these people are soft now. What do you expect? These people are soft. So I think it's changed. You know, things have changed. The comedian used to be able to just go on stage, say what he says, and then you just put up with it. And everybody would talk about that until his next comedy special. Nowadays, it's kind of like look at Matt Rife. I didn't know Matt Rife has 18 million followers on TikTok. So that looks different compared to like people who've been on the stage all these years, filled up, packed up arenas. And then now you got him who can just pack up a TikTok room. So, all right, guys, I like this style. I'm going to be doing a lot more styles like this. So if you like it, definitely write more in the comments. Make sure you subscribe at the top bell, and I will see you guys on the next one. I'm out of here.